If you're an aspiring data scientist or machine learning engineer, then machine learning system design is probably one of the most essential skills that you need to know. It's the bridge between just simply building a model and actually bringing it into production to generate tangible business value. The ability to turn ML ideas into production systems that save money, generate revenue, and bring business value ultimately decide your career growth and your salary. I've personally built machine learning systems that have saved companies over $1.5 million per year, and these exact skills have helped me land 100K job offers within data science and machine learning. So in this video, I want to break down exactly how I think about machine learning system design and also help you prepare for interviews. Let's get into it. On screen here is the framework I used when I think about building a machine learning system. Let's now break down this framework step by step. The first part is to understand the business problem. And then first thing we need to do is basically identify exactly what we're trying to do. So what is it we're trying to improve? What is it we're trying to measure? Is it user-based? Is it company-based? Like, what exactly is the business case that we are really solving? The next part in this business problem formulation is that we really want to understand the metric we're trying to improve. Are we trying to improve the accuracy, the RMSE, the F1 score, the recall? Because this will dictate exactly the model we'll use later down the line. We also want to find out about any constraints or scope, like do we need real-time predictions? How much compute resource do we have? How often do we need to make predictions? So everything about the infrastructure around the company and what are the things we need to take into account that may limit the type of model that we could build. And the final part of the business problem section is that we can create a really high-level rough architecture of what it will look like. So where is the data coming from? What's the model doing? And what is the outputs? So after we've understood the business problem, got the metric we want to move, and understand the constraints of our problem, it's now time to look at the data. So this section or this step of the framework is all about just understanding what data we have, where it lives, and how we can gather it. So we need to identify the data sources, like is it databases, APIs, logs, sensors, things like that. We then need to see, is our target variable, if we're doing a supervised learning problem, does it indeed live in the data? Like let's say we're trying to predict churn rates. Can we get the churn rate number out of the data that we have? Like we need to make sure that variable exists in the data and also try and find it. And we should also check for quality control. So is data clean? Is there issues with it? Also, is there any privacy problems? Just the state of the data and where we can find it is the main part of this step of the framework. After we've identified the data, it's now time to do some feature engineering. So the first bit is basically to look or identify the features that we think are important to the problem. Like if we're trying to predict, churn rates, then maybe we want to know more about the pricing or how the users act with the application we're building, right? So just using that business knowledge of what information we think is most relevant to predicting the target variable. We may also want to clean the data, so handling missing values, inconsistent entries, and just data that doesn't look like we want it to be. How do we sort through that and how do we fix it? Machine learning models can only take in numeric data types. So we also want to better represent our features through things like one-hot encoding, target encoding, and embeddings. And the last thing we want to look at is the sampling and splits. So this will be like taking into account unbalanced data sets, understanding if there's any data leakage we may have, and also splitting our data set into both training and testing from when we actually build the model. After we've done all the data and the feature engineering, we're now at the model design and selection part. And this section is all about basically showcasing or showing off your machine learning knowledge theory. In this section, it's really important to start with a benchmark model. You want to start with a really simple heuristic like last prediction, mean value, something that's just, like I said, stupid, because you want to benchmark your more complex models against a really simple solution. This is the first step of any form of modeling, in my opinion, because it allows you to basically determine, like I said, if your more complex models are actually doing a good job. After you've done your benchmark model, you can then start training more complex models, and you can do things like high parameter tuning, cross-validation, early stopping, all these best practices around model training, and you can slowly build complexity on types of models that you're going to try for your target. And one thing you need to take into account whilst building all these models is trade-offs. So like interpretability, complexity, inference speed, latency. All these things that could impact how your model works in production, you need to keep that in the back of your mind, because that would also impact the type of model that you will eventually ship. After we have our best model, or the model we think we're going to use, we then need to think about how we're going to service it and deploy it into production. So the things we need to consider here is the infrastructure. Are we going to use cloud systems or on-premise servers? What type of CI/CD pipelines are we going to set up? And how we're going to deal with scalability problems. As well as the infrastructure side, we also need to think about how we're going to service the model to the customers or to the business. So we can deploy it through an API. It could be an edge model. And are we going to do things like batch predictions or live online predictions all the time? These are all things we need to take into account when I'm building the infrastructure and building exactly how we're going to deploy the model into production. And finally, the last part, after the model is deployed into production, we need to think about how we're going to evaluate it and also monitor its progress. The main things we need to think about here is the metrics. So are we going to use a different online metric versus the metric we use for offline testing? How exactly are we going to monitor it? Are we going to use a dashboarding tool, monitoring kind of software on its own, notebook, just all the different ways that we can monitor the predictions from our model? And also from what I've experienced at large tech companies, most of them have an experimentation platform where you can get basically live A/B tests that really speed up the process. So we should think about exactly how we're going to experiment this model change in production. Let me tell you a secret. Machine learning system design is not an entry-level skill whatsoever. Machine learning system design is only really tested at the mid and above levels. This is because at that point in your career, you will have a solid knowledge across machine learning theory, software engineering, and you are very likely to be developing some sort of specialism in a certain area. Nevertheless, if you do want a comprehensive list, but by no means exhaustive, of the things you should learn, then these are following things that you should know for machine learning system design interviews. So for machine learning theory, you should learn supervised learning. So these are things like classification, using models like logistic, regression, support vector machines, and decision trees. You should also know regression, which is linear regression, decision trees, and gradient boosted trees. Then, as well as supervised learning, you need to know unsupervised learning. So these are things like clustering using k-means and dbScan, dimensionality reduction, and latent semantic analysis. Then after you've learned those forms of learning, it's time to learn deep learning. So deep learning will be things like neural networks, convolutional neural networks, and recurrent neural networks. Then you should learn loss functions, so like F1 score, recall, precision, RMSE, NDCG, just all the types of loss functions, because these metrics are very, very important when you're formulating your framework, as I said earlier. Then you should understand the basic rules of feature selection, so things like correlation analysis, recursive feature elimination, regularization, cross-validation, and hyperparameter tuning. You also need to know statistics, things like Bayesian statistics, probability theory, probability distributions, and also A/B testing very well. And finally, you'll probably have a specialism, whether that's computer vision, time series forecasting, natural language, reinforcement learning, just a few things. When I say a few things, you only really need one or two specialisms, but like I said, at this point of your career journey, you probably have a decent familiarity for at least one of those. When it comes to system design and engineering, these are the things you need to know. Number one is that you must know the cloud. And to be honest, if you had to learn one cloud platform, it would be AWS. And for that, you should learn things like S3, ECS, EC2, Lambda functions. I mean, AWS has got a lot of products, but most of them are simply wrappers of compute and storage. So if you know S3 and you know EC2, the rest are pretty, well, not easy, but they're a lot simpler to understand. You should also understand containerization, and the main ones are Docker and Kubernetes. To be really good at machine learning system design, you also need to understand regular system design. So that's things like caching, networking, quantization, and APIs. Just anything you'd be asked at a regular system design interview for software engineering, you probably need to know most of that for a machine learning system design interview as well. It goes without saying, but you should also know version control. So obviously you should know Git and things like Circle CI and Jenkins for CI/CD pipelines, but you should also understand how to better or how to even version your models using things like MLflow and weights and biases. And the last thing you should know are more ML specific deployments and orchestration tools like Argo, Metaflow, Airflow, and Databricks. These are more niche kind of systems, and to be honest, you're very unlikely to be tested on them individually, but they are used throughout the industry. So if you learn those, then you're kind of at the cutting edge of how we deploy ML systems at big tech companies. In terms of resources to learn all of this, there's quite a lot. But the one book I recommend to learn all the machine learning theory things is the Hands-on ML with Scikit-learn, Keras, and TensorFlow. I've recommended this book so many times. It is the go-to book if you want to learn pretty much everything in machine learning when it comes from the theoretical standpoint. For more of the systems design part, I recommend Designing Machine Learning Systems textbook. Again, I've recommended this one so many times. It's taught by, or it's written by Chip Huon, who's probably the leading AI/ML practitioner when it comes to actually deploying algorithms into production. So you'll be learning from the best. Another book that I've used personally is a Practical MLOps textbook. This one is very similar to the previous one, so you don't need to use both, to be honest. But this is the one I used when I was learning a lot about production systems and how to deploy my models into production. However, if you want to learn through an online interactive course and master system design for real-world projects, then I recommend DataCamp's MLOps Fundamentals track, who are kindly sponsoring this video. This track contains 4 specialized courses that will teach you the fundamentals of how to productionize and monitor your machine learning models so that you can actually generate value for the businesses that you're working in. I've literally been recommending DataCamp for years now. What sets their platform apart is just how interactive and hands-on every single lesson is. In this track, you will gain practical experience with the following: runtime environments, containerization, CI/CD pipelines, version control, model registry, experiment tracking, model serving, and literally everything else that you need to know in order to deploy your algorithms into production effectively. Every module is broken down into short videos with real coding exercises. So you build skills by actually applying them, not just watching a video. Plus, you'll earn a statement of accomplishment that you can showcase on your LinkedIn or resume. So if you want to start building your MLOps skill set today, then make sure you check out DataCamp, and all of this is linked in the description below. I plan on releasing a more comprehensive video later on about ML system design interviews, but for now, I'll give you a high-level overview and also give you some tips about how to prepare for them. In these interviews, you'll be presented with a broad and open-ended problem, something like recommender systems, or an image detection algorithm, or even something like a spam filter model. If the role you're applying for contains some sort of specialism, then it's very likely the system design part will be around that specialism that you're applying for. For example, if you're applying for computer vision, then you probably should expect a computer vision type problem in your interview. One of the biggest issues with machine learning system design interviews is their lack of standardization. I mean, if you compare that to software engineering, like everything in software engineering is pretty standardized and you kind of know what you're going to get. Machine learning is a lot more, like I said, open-ended. There's a lot more kind of routes you can go down, and there are many types of frameworks, models that you can use that will arrive pretty much the same solution. I've even seen this firsthand and have even implemented multiple algorithms for the same problem, and they literally have the same accuracy. So you see what I mean? It's not as easy or as straightforward, dare I say, compared to like software engineering, but I'm happy to be corrected on that. That said, most hiring managers only really look for a few key things during this interview. The first one is problem translation. So this is kind of the hardest part of the job. Like, can you translate a business issue or business problem into a machine learning solution? That is literally the whole job. So if you can do that, then you're doing very well. Number 2, can you practice really good decision making? i.e., do you understand the problem and the trade-offs? Like, if you know there's only a certain amount of compute power you have, or you need to make really quick predictions, do you understand the types of models that you can use and whether those models are suitable given the constraints of the problem, and essentially how well can you interpret these models, right? So all these trade-offs, can you make that a consistent theme in your interview throughout. And the final one is simply the breadth and depth of your knowledge. For example, do you know a wide variety of machine learning algorithms and a wide range of how to apply them, right? It's not necessarily you need to be on the cutting edge of every single field, but do you know the fundamental algorithms really well? And do you understand where they're used for, where they better used versus where they're worse used, right? And showcasing that knowledge just shows that you really understand, and you don't just pigeonhole you don't pigeonhole yourself into one algorithm straight away. And this is about like being very non-biased, being very objective, and seeing everything and making the right decision. That is mainly what they're looking for in this interview, but I can appreciate that may seem simple, but it is quite hard to implement in practice. When it comes to preparation, all I can say is simply just work through past problems. Here are some platforms and resources that I think are very good. The first one is Hello Interview. It's basically a platform or website that, is all about helping you prepare for interviews for tech-based roles. It's mainly for software engineering, but they are building up the machine learning section, but they have really good examples and a few practice problems that you can work through. The second one is a machine learning system design interview textbook. I mean, this book is literally it is a book. It's a book about machine learning system design interviews. So if you have to get one resource, get this one. It'll pretty much tell you everything you need to do to prepare, along with really good practice problems that you can get, like I said, more active experience before your interview. And the final one is the Machine Learning Interviews online book. This is another resource by Chip Huon, who, like I said, is a leading practitioner on how to deploy AI ML solutions into production. And this textbook is written by her, so it's very good, and it's also completely free. And it also has really good example problems and resources that you can check out to get more acquainted with how to approach machine learning system design interviews. I also recommend checking out the blog post of some big tech companies to really understand how these large tech firms think about deploying machine learning algorithms at scale. Some of the ones I recommend are Meta, Netflix, Airbnb, and Lyft. Again, this will all be linked in the description below for you to check out. Earlier, I mentioned how in machine learning system design interviews, they already assume that you kind of have really good fundamental knowledge of machine learning theory. But what exactly is that fundamental theory, and how do you go about learning it? Well, that's something I precisely covered in one of my previous videos, which I'll link on screen here. I'll cover all the topics as well as the best resources. I'll see you there.